Hi everybody, I'm currently watching a slew of what I'll call grade Z movies, Poverty Row cheapies, and this one is no exception. This one is by Monogram Studios, probably the number one cheapest studio in the Poverty Row era, and it's called King of the Zombies, released in 1941. This one actually looks a little more slick than most Monogram offerings. It's directed by Gene Yarbrough, who a lot of people may know that name from a lot of movies and a lot of TV episodes, TV shows. The story takes place in World War II, and it starts with an airplane which is headed by its pilot, a passenger, and his valet. The valet is played by Mantan Moreland. He's a black comedian of the time. And the airplane crashes on a remote island during a storm, and it turns out that there was another similar airplane that had crashed before this in the same location. And when they get there, they decide that they're going to seek shelter in a mansion which is run by a mysterious doctor who kind of acts and sounds a lot like Bela Lugosi. And there's a reason for that, because the part was originally made with Bela Lugosi in mind, and Lugosi was going to be the doctor. He's done so many movies like this around that time, it was a natural. But Lugosi was not available. And the second choice was Peter Lorre, but Peter Lorre didn't make it either. So instead, the doctor is played by Henry Victor. And I didn't realize until afterwards that Henry Victor actually was in the movie Freaks, the Todd Browning film from 1932, and he played the strong kind of man there, the strong muscle man. So that was pretty interesting to learn. I hadn't even recognized him. Anyway, as the story, little there is, moves on, we start seeing that Mantan Moreland, in his best comedic fashion, starts seeing zombified people walking around in a trance-like state, kind of like just wandering about, and he starts panicking and says, "There's zombies here." Of course, that results in the usual routine where nobody believes him. Is he really sure he's seeing what he's seeing? Etc., etc., etc. And it turns out, yeah, there are people walking around. Zombies in these days were not the zombies like people would come to know later on. The gut-munching animated corpses that start devouring people. That's none of that. It's just sleepwalkers, pretty much, walking around. And it turns out in the end that there's a voodoo ritual being conducted in the cellar, and it's orchestrated by, of course, the weird doctor, who turns out to be more than he is. And I'm not going to say what that is, because in case anybody should have any desire to watch this thing, you'll find out what that is. There's not much horror in this movie. There's not much comedy either. What little comedy there is, I mean, it's not that funny to me personally, but of course, we're all different, so it's completely subjective. But I gotta say, Mantan Moreland really is the star of this picture, and I would give it 1 out of 4 stars, okay? And that's only because of Mantan Moreland, primarily. I think if it wasn't for him, there'd be no reason to watch this movie. So I'm going to give him his kudos where necessary. This is politically incorrect for the time, but that's the kind of movies they were making back then. This is only 67 minutes. Seems a little longer, just feels that way. And let's see, I got at least one more of these old zombie movies from this era to do in the future. So stay tuned if you dare.